Tzedek Box.
The earlier dates all included quick actions. I signed a petition or I made a donation, which is really good. But as the time went on, I realized that I was doing more investment in the actions I was taking. Things like I organized a Zoom lobby, or I attended an educational session, or I gathered people from my community to attend a program with me that was around social justice issues.
When I opened my Tzedek Box, I saw I signed a lot of letters and petitions, and I donated to a lot of organizations and causes. My number one issue was health, and my number two issue was immigration.
I also see a lot of learning events that prompted me to act, have discussions with my children, and think about new issues facing my community and our world, really.
This is somewhat of a pattern of what I've done. I tend to help individuals and donate to organizations that help people who feel disenfranchised in society or seem to be on the fringe.
I'm also seeing how I tried out a number of different modes, just a lot of different kinds of engagement, some phone calls, some education, some letter writing, petition signing.
When I opened the box, what I saw was a real manifestation and like a record of me operating from my values, my strengths, and my passions in the context of healing. What I saw was that if I'm not taking care of myself, if I'm not seeking justice for myself or this body, then there's going to be a profound disconnect in how I'm able to walk in full values alignment to continue to make change institutionally on policy and systems levels, but also all the way through the very real healing work that I think this requires.
So what I see is that you did lots of acts in kindness towards your friends and family. Is that true?
Yeah.
Do you feel good about that?
Yeah.
And then
It's moving to see all those acts of justice in my box, and I feel like it's making me a better person. I'd like to think at least some of my actions made a difference. At the very least, I can say that I didn't sit on my hands thinking my actions don't matter.
So it means a lot to me to be able to look at this and revisit my experiences and see the community's experiences and know that we're all in it for the same reasons. We're all in it for the greater good and to build a more equitable and just world.
One of the things that I see from the entries in the Tzedek Box was how a lot of the activities and choices that I made were really influenced by the moment and what was coming up in society in any given time. I guess looking at it now, I also feel just a sense of like, wow, there is so much that needs to still be done going forward. And feeling also glad about some of these efforts, some of the ways that I pushed myself to do some things that I wouldn't have felt comfortable with and maybe still didn't feel comfortable with, but that I felt motivated to try.
I feel like I've been doing good things.
yeah.
And sometimes I must admit it feels overwhelming. You know the needs out there, and you feel you want to do more and more and more.
For me, this was an opportunity for me holding myself responsible for the things that I say I care about and the extent to which my actions align with those things.
I tend to focus on legislative change because I feel like that's where you have the big impact. And yet this year I really learned about the power of direct relationships. I work at a legal clinic for asylum seekers as a volunteer, and hearing people's stories and feeling so connected to the people I was working with really fueled my fire when it came to going back out there and registering voters this past year, because I knew at a different level the impact that the election would really have.
So when I look through these, I feel really proud of all the discussions we've had in our house with our kids. Overall, my actions feel a little more reactionary than I like, or that I think that they were. But I do see in all the things that I did how much I care about these issues and how much I care about our world, but really especially our local community.
And for me, I've realized that I'm very interested in the more social aspects of these types of things, like getting people involved in the communities that I'm part of. And that's led me to run for a position in my university's Hillel that will allow me to run events and get people involved. And without Tzedek Box, I don't know if I would have identified what gets me most excited about social action.
As I've used the Tzedek Box over the past several months, one thing that I'm reflecting on is how often I took an action but chose not to deposit it because it felt too small or insignificant. I'm reminding myself that small actions do add up, especially when taken in solidarity with other people. And I'm committing to making sure that even when I'm doing something small or easy, that I'm doing it with an end in mind and also in collaboration with other people.
I think it's kind of beautiful that at first I took very small, easy steps. I gained my confidence. I was encouraged by filling the box and also the app. And over time, my actions have become more impactful, more self-efficacy in my ability to be an activist, to create tzedek in our world. And it's really true. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah.
I feel like I got to dabble in tzedek this year. And I'm excited for next year, having seen what a year of tzedek looks like and how you can reflect on these things and make changes in your behavior, in your advocacy. Because my box was not quite as full as I would have liked.
Going forward, I just really want to keep going. I think I want to keep engaging in that way and just listen to responsively to the needs of what is.
One person can really make a difference in this world.
I want to do more hands-on justice work in the future. I'd like to try stepping out of my comfort zone and attending more events.
I'm reminding myself to sometimes listen to that voice that's telling me that maybe I'm not being audacious enough in matching my strength and skills to the issues that I'm passionate about. So when I feel this way, I'm committing to depositing my action, but then also pushing myself to take another action that's a little more out of my comfort zone.
My now what is that I have to keep going on. I have to keep doing what I'm doing. For me, as the descendant of kidnapped and enslaved Africans, of indigenous people to Turtle Island, my people are the Meskwaki, and as an Ashkenazi German Jew, every breath that I take is an act of resistance, and I'm going to keep breathing.
More relationship building, more community building, more Tzedek Box.
It makes me want to do more and more.
It does? That's awesome.